Hello, welcome back. While we were waiting for the cabbage and the potatoes to soften, my camera decided to quit. And unfortunately, I fell asleep and didn't know that my camera quit. So, we have a whole new video. I mean, not a brand new video. Somehow I'm going to have to figure out how to piece it together so it can be all one video. But when I left off, we put the cabbage and we put the potatoes into it, and this will happen, the boil over mess here. And my windows are open, so all the steam is going flying out. But we got meat, potatoes, cabbage, onions, garlic, salt, pepper, bacon, tomato soup. This can is from a restaurant store that is open to the public. And that is it for right now. Right now, I am getting ready to, Right now, I'm getting ready to put peppers in, and in here I have jalapeno and a half of a green bell pepper. My husband wants some spice in it, so that's going in. And then I'm going to be adding a container of mushrooms. And with mushrooms, you don't want to wash them or rinse them or anything, because, and the reason why I waited for the potatoes and everything to get a little bit more soft is because I really don't want my mushrooms to be really all that mushy. So we have some color of green and white and red. And now we're going to add a little bit more white to it. And it is 5:30. And I'm saying a couple more hours. So we're just going to dump the whole container of mushrooms. I'm not going to slice them, not going to dice them, not going to do nothing. We're just going to dump the whole container of mushrooms into, and the very last thing that I will add is some cilantro. But I don't want to add that until the very bitter end. So as you can see, it is, and I don't know if I can turn you without dropping my cell phone. It is a very full, let's get this, very full container of stew. And like everything else, it will cook down. This is the last component. And with every kind of cooking, I have learned that you build up your spices. And you add, and I'm going to add just a little bit because I have been tasting it throughout the process to make sure. I'm having a hard time with the salt here. This is sea salt fine crystals. I bought this at a grocery store called Meijer's. It's been open here in Kenosha for about a year. So I'm going to put a couple good extra pinches of salt into it. Now remember, I put some jalapeno in it. And we're going to give this, now that I added some more spice to it, we're going to give this a little bit of a taste test. That is good. It doesn't need anything else. It's got that, you can still taste, I mean, not, you can't get drunk off of it, but you can tell that there's wine that I put in here. Remember, we put that half a cup of wine, and we put a fourth of a cup of balsamic vinegar, which helps soften everything. And then we'll put later on, we'll put 3 tablespoons of some cornstarch. And that'll help thicken. But now we just have to let it get bubbling again. So the mushrooms will start to cook. What that is from, but there is plenty of everything. Now that all the spices have joined the party and they're all mingling and they're all roaming around inside the stew, it'll all come together and it'll be delicious. Well, I will see you again within, I don't know, an hour or 2. By that time it should be boiling again. And then all we have to do is add a little bit of cilantro and some cornstarch and it'll thicken up. Until then, peace. Okay, we are back. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some cornstarch to our stew here. And yes, you can have stew that is many different colors. If you want it all green, then obviously add green. You can have tomato stew, which is basically what I did with the cabbage and tomato soup. And it doesn't have to be the brown gravy stew because, number one, I can't have brown gravy. It messes with my stomach. So, we are going to, and if you excuse me a minute, oh wait, no, I can use one of these. We're going to take 3 spoons here once my box allows me to. Oh, for heaven's sakes, wouldn't you know it? Once my box allows me to do that, we're going to take 3 scoops of cornstarch. Even though we use the potato starch, it's still not enough. So we're going to use 3 scoops of starch with some water. And we're going to mix that. Gotta put it down so we don't get it all over the place. And what that does is it'll make some paste. You want to stir that up so it's not all sticking to the bottom or anything. And this will make like it'll thicken up the stew. And there you have it. I got it all over my counter too, so. And then we're going to pour this into the stew. And mix that in there. And it'll take about 15-20 minutes for it to start to thicken up a bit. And at this time, I will add my last ingredient, which is the cilantro. Just right on top. Gonna spread it out a little bit. And when it's done, you can add cheese in your bowl or sour cream if you like, or some more cilantro. This just adds a little bit of flavor. Try not to get the stems, but it is fresh cilantro. And there you have it. Let's spread this out a little bit. And we'll take a few minutes and let that starch, and if it's not enough starch, if it's not thick enough for you, then you can add just a little bit more, but I don't recommend too much, because as it sits, it will thicken. So we'll cover that up and we'll let it sit for a little bit. And let's hope it all works out. See you in a bit. Peace. Alright, it's been a few minutes since I've added the cornstarch to, the cornstarch to the stew. It's not as thick as I thought it would be, but with all the vegetables and everything, and like my husband says, all I gotta do, babe, is just add some crackers or put a piece of bread underneath to catch all the juice. And there you have it. But this is it. My tomato soup stew with cabbage, beef, bacon, potatoes, onions, garlic, cilantro, mushrooms, green peppers, jalapenos, and tomato soup, and some spices, whatever you like, and just let it cook and cook and cook. And about a half a cup of red wine and a fourth of a cup of I gotta think of it now, balsamic vinegar. There we go. We thought of it. See, I've been cooking this thing all day, and now I'm tired, and it's time to eat. So I hope you enjoy this recipe as much as I enjoyed cooking it for y'all. And I hope y'all have a good rest of the day. Peace out, all!